The cargo hauler drifted through the void, its hull scarred by micrometeorite impacts and decades of hard service. Inside, Tom gripped the navigation console as alarms screamed their warnings. The ship shuddered, and he knew immediately what had happened. Pirates. No, worse than pirates. The energy signature on his sensors matched the profiles he'd been warned about. Valkyr raiders. The ship lurched as tractor beams locked onto the hull. Tom's hands moved across the controls, trying every evasion protocol he knew, but it was useless. The hauler was designed for cargo, not combat or escape. Within minutes, the airlock shrieked as it was forced open. He barely had time to grab his grandmother's necklace from the console and shove it into his pocket before armored figures stormed through the corridor. They were tall, these Valkyr warriors. Their exoskeletons gleamed with bioluminescent patterns, and their faces were hidden behind helmets that resembled the skulls of predatory insects. Tom raised his hands slowly, knowing resistance would be fatal. They bound him in energy restraints that hummed against his skin and dragged him through the connection tunnel to their vessel. The raider ship was unlike anything Tom had seen in his years, hauling freight across the outer colonies. Organic technology merged seamlessly with metallic components. The walls pulsed with a faint heartbeat rhythm. The air tasted of ozone and something else, something almost floral. They hauled him through winding corridors until they reached a chamber that could only be described as a throne room. She sat there, elevated on a platform of living crystal that grew from the floor itself. The Queen. Tom had heard stories about the Valkyr hierarchy, how their society was built around powerful matriarchs who commanded absolute loyalty. But stories hadn't prepared him for the reality. The Queen was massive, easily 8 feet tall, with 4 arms that ended in clawed fingers. Her armor was more ornate than her warriors, embedded with gems that seemed to hold captured starlight. But it was her face that held his attention. Unlike her soldiers, she wore no helmet. Her features were sharp and angular, with eyes that burned like violet suns. When she spoke, her voice resonated through the chamber like distant thunder. "Human, you are far from your protected roots." "Why?" Tom swallowed hard. His translator implant struggled with the Valkyr dialect, but it managed. "Fuel costs. The main routes have tariffs. I was trying to save credits. And now you have lost everything." The Queen leaned forward, those burning eyes studying him with an intensity that made his skin crawl. "Your ship will be stripped. Its components will serve my fleet. As for you, you will be processed with the other captives. We have use for human labor." The words hit Tom like a physical blow. He'd heard about the labor camps, the mining operations on toxic worlds where captives worked until their bodies gave out. But something in him refused to accept that fate. His grandmother had survived worse. She'd been a colony defender during the expansion wars, had held her ground against impossible odds. She'd given him her necklace before she died and told him it had kept her alive through battles that should have killed her a dozen times over. His hand moved to his pocket before he could stop himself. The gesture caught the Queen's attention. "What do you have there, human?" The warriors tensed, weapons rising. Tom slowly withdrew his hand, the necklace dangling from his fingers. It was a simple thing, really. A silver chain with a pendant shaped like a 5-pointed star. The metal was old, tarnished in places, but it caught the light in strange ways. "It's nothing. Just a family heirloom." The Queen's eyes narrowed. She made a gesture, and one of the warriors snatched the necklace from Tom's grip. The soldier carried it up to the platform and presented it to his sovereign. She took it carefully, holding it up to examine. Then something impossible happened. The pendant began to glow. Soft at first, then brighter, pulsing with a blue-white light that filled the chamber. The Queen's eyes went wide. She rose from her throne, all four arms moving in what Tom recognized as shock. The warriors stepped back, their weapons lowering in confusion. The queen spoke, but not in the harsh Valkyr tongue. She spoke in a language Tom's implant identified as ancient Valkyr, a dialect thousands of years old. The words tumbled from her lips in what sounded like a prayer or an oath. When the light finally faded, the queen stood perfectly still, the necklace clutched in one hand. She looked at Tom with an expression he couldn't quite read. Fear? Awe? Respect? Where did you get this? Her voice was quiet now, almost reverent. My grandmother. She was a soldier. She said it was a gift from someone she saved during the war. The queen descended from her platform, moving with a grace that belied her size. She approached Tom until she stood directly in front of him, towering over his 6-foot frame. Up close, he could see that her armor was engraved with symbols and patterns that seemed to tell stories. Your grandmother. She fought in the expansion wars? Yes, on Titan Ridge. She held the northern wall for 3 days against the Valkyr advance. The queen finished. I know, I was there. Tom's mind reeled. That had been 40 years ago. The queen looked no older than 30 in human terms, but he knew some species age differently. Your grandmother saved someone on that battlefield. Do you know who? Tom shook his head mutely. The queen's 4 arms moved to her armor, and with practiced motions, she began removing pieces. Tom's guards shifted nervously, but no one moved to stop her. When she'd removed enough to expose her lower right arm, she held it out. There, carved into the dark flesh, was a scar in the shape of a 5-pointed star. I was young then, foolish. I led a scouting party too far into enemy territory, and we were ambushed. My warriors died. I would have died too, trapped under rubble from a collapsed bunker. But a human soldier found me. She could have left me, should have left me. I was the enemy, but she didn't. The queen's voice grew softer. She dug me out with her bare hands, gave me water from her own canteen, bound my wounds, and when she heard your reinforcements coming, she gave me this. She held up the necklace. She said it had protected her, and now it would protect me. She helped me escape before your soldiers arrived. Tom stared at the necklace, then at the queen, and back at the necklace. She never told me. She never told anyone. She made me promise something that day. She said that if I survived, if I ever gained power among my people, I should remember that mercy is not weakness, that honor exists even between enemies. The queen carefully placed the necklace back into Tom's hands. I have carried that lesson for 4 decades. I rose to command my fleet, then my clan, then my entire house. I conquered rivals and expanded our territory. But I never forgot what she taught me. She turned to her warriors and spoke in the Valkyr tongue. Tom's implant translated, "This human is not a captive. He is a guest of the highest honor. Any who harm him will answer to me personally." The warriors immediately knelt, fists pressed to their chests in salute. The queen looked back at Tom. Your grandmother saved my life. She gave me more than survival. She gave me purpose. Without her mercy, I would never have become who I am. My entire house owes its existence to her compassion. She's gone now, Tom said quietly. Died 2 years ago. Then I cannot repay her directly. But I can repay you. The queen gestured broadly. Your ship will be repaired, upgraded with Valkyr technology. You will be given safe passage through all territories under my control. And if you wish it, I will provide you with an escort that will ensure no one else dares to trouble you. Tom looked at the necklace in his hands, feeling its weight differently now. Not just a trinket, but a bridge between species, between enemies turned to something else. There's something I'd like more than an escort, he said slowly. You said you remember what my grandmother taught you about mercy and honor. The Queen's eyes narrowed slightly. Speak. How many captives do you have? Humans and others working in those labor camps? The Queen was silent for a long moment. Then, incredibly, she smiled. It was a fearsome expression, full of sharp teeth, but there was genuine respect in it. Your grandmother would be proud. Very well, human. I will review the conditions of our labor operations. Those who were taken unjustly will be released. Those who committed crimes against my people will still face justice, but they will face it fairly. And I will send word to the other houses that the old ways of raiding and capturing must evolve. She extended one of her 4 hands. Tom hesitated, then reached out and clasped it. Her grip was strong enough to crush his bones, but she was careful. I am Queen Vora of House Midnight. You will always have a friend in me and mine. What is your name, grandson of my savior? Tom Hendricks. Then let it be known across all Valkyr space. Tom Hendricks is under the protection of House Midnight. To harm him is to harm me. She released his hand and stepped back. Stay tonight as my guest. Tomorrow, your ship will be ready, and you may go wherever you wish. But know that you carry more than a necklace. You carry proof that even in war, even between different species, understanding is possible. That night, Tom dined in the Queen's private chambers. She told him stories of his grandmother's courage, moments from that long-ago battle that had never made it into the official records. He told her about growing up with a woman who rarely spoke of the war, but who taught him that strength meant pro.